Rookie Oscar Piastri limped to 11th place in Azerbaijan, with the McLaren pilot in damage limitation mode after suffering a nasty bout of food poisoning that saw him lose 6 kilograms in Baku. Piastri admitted he had banked the fresh Azerbaijan expertise, but is focused on recovering for the next round. I think I've had about 4 pieces of toast for the whole weekend, so I need to get some food in me before Miami, he said. The FIA is reconsidering its Parc Fermé rules after Alpine driver Esteban Ocon pitted on the last lap and nearly mowed down various personnel. Ocon did the longest stint possible in Baku on the hard tires, but his stop was a surprise to the FIA, with media and other personnel in the pit lane ahead of the podium forced to take avoiding action. And the investigation began immediately. The stewards required the FIA's representatives to take immediate steps to reconsider these procedures and protocols with the relevant stakeholders, including FOM, the teams, and the FIA, to ensure that this situation does not occur again. F1 will continue to race in Azerbaijan capital Baku until at least 2026, with a new 3-year deal signed ahead of this year's edition. Baku first joined the calendar in 2016 as the European Grand Prix, before rebranding as Azerbaijan a year later. The temporary track, which even extends to tarmac over cobblestones, is one of the fastest on the F1 calendar and generally delivers thrilling races. This year, Red Bull's Sergio Perez became the first driver to secure 2 wins in Baku. His first in Azerbaijan in 2021 was earned after teammate Max Verstappen suffered a dramatic tire blowout. Aston Martin technical director Dan Fallows says Red Bull's crystal-clear company vision sets it apart from its big-budget, talent-rich F1 rivals, with the Brit an aero acolyte at the squad from 2006 to 2022. Red Bull has been the dominant mark of the 2023 season, with all 4 races run so far won by the squad. But Fallows told F1's official podcast Beyond the Grid it's not a surprise.
What we as a management team when I was working there were really tasked with was making sure that we adhered to that vision whilst growing the teams in all the areas that we knew that we needed to grow in. You know, really, they've had the advantage of a very big budget, a very clear vision, being able to attract some incredibly good people, both as, you know, as graduates, but also from other teams throughout the years.
Fallows spearheaded the AMR 23 project, which enabled Aston Martin to make a big step forward this season, but says the Green Squad's new recruit, 2-time F1 world champion Fernando Alonso, has also played his part in taking the car to 3 podiums so far this year.
You know, he's just come in like a sort of, you know, like a Tasmanian devil, and, and we've all just sort of kind of reacted to it. But it's a great boost for us as a team. You know, last year was a very difficult year, and all of these things that have helped to lift the team to bring that sort of new energy, and he's a big part of that.
Reigning world champion Max Verstappen says he'll decide whether it's time to retire from F1 at the end of his current contract in 2028. Verstappen is dominating F1 right now, with his class of the field RB19, putting him on course for a 3rd straight crown. But the Dutchman says he won't hesitate to hang up his helmet at the end of 2028 if it's getting too much for him. I do like racing, I like winning, I know the salary, you have a good life. But is it actually a good life? Sometimes you get to the point of your career where you want to do other stuff, he said. Verstappen's deal worth $55 million annually is the longest duration driver contract currently in F1. AlphaTauri made a monumental announcement ahead of Azerbaijan, with its founding team boss Franz Tost to retire at the end of the 2023 season as part of sweeping changes to its management structure. It was an open secret in the F1 paddock that 67-year-old Tost wanted to retire before he was 70, but those plans have now been accelerated, with Red Bull bringing in new management from 2024. Tost will be replaced as team principal by Laurent Mekies, who will join from Ferrari, where he is racing director. Former FIA F1 executive director Peter Bayer comes in as CEO later next year. Tost will be retained as a consultant, but paid his respects to the squad, having overseen both race wins at Faenza. It has been a true privilege to lead the team for such a long period, and a great pleasure to work with so many motivated and skilled people who share my passion for Formula One, he said. Lando Norris believes he will be able to fight for the World Championship with McLaren from as early as next year. McLaren began this season on the back foot, having failed to meet aero development targets, with the MCL60's Baku upgrade, the first of 3 major packages, taking the car to where Norris says that it should have started the year in Bahrain. But while the squad has also restructured its technical team, creating a new leadership trio that will be finalized in 2024, Norris is expecting rapid progress in the final seasons of his contract, enough to take on F1 world champions Max Verstappen and Sir Lewis Hamilton. I believe that I'll be able to battle against them and be a contender against them for a championship, he said. But I believe that even more so for 24, and I believe that even more for 25. Mercedes technical director James Allison has opened up on his shock return to the role, stating that it makes the Silver Arrows a better fighting machine overall for future progress. Allison swapped roles with Mike Elliott, who is now Chief Technical Officer after the W14 car failed to match up to Red Bull's RB19. But the Brit told the sports official podcast F1 Nation that the move was a logical one in reflection of their personal strengths and weaknesses.
We just had a bit of a examining of our own navels here in Brackley, and between Mike and I, concluded that the pair of us can cover the ground reasonably well, but that perhaps I was better suited to the short-term fighting of a championship with a car, and that he was the much better chess player of the pair of us, and that he would be better suited to doing the job I was doing as a CTO previously. So we jiggled it about and came up with something that we think is a better fighting machine overall.
There was a collective sigh in F1's garages ahead of Baku, with the FIA's World Motorsport Council approving an extra power unit for each driver's allocation this year to reduce grid penalties across the season. Each driver will now be allowed for this season only 4 engines, turbos, and energy recovery systems, ERSK and ERSH. The car's energy store and control electronics, however, remain capped at 2. Other approved changes include the grid procedure, which goes from 40 to 50 minutes for additional ceremonies. The definition for working on a car in a penalty pit stop is touching it. While there may be future cost cap exclusions, which relate to F1 team factory infrastructure in the interest of improving sustainability. A specifically dedicated working group within the Financial Advisory Committee has developed a proposal for the introduction of an exclusion of costs in respect of certain sustainability initiatives from 2023 onwards, with particular focus on environmental concerns, said the FIA statement. Mercedes driver Sir Lewis Hamilton is not short of success in F1, but his achievements could soon hit the stratosphere, with the Brit keen to join a future SpaceX flight for the ultimate adrenaline rush. Private space travel for the ultra-rich is slowly gaining momentum, with Axiom Space due to send its second private mission to the International Space Station on May 8, with 4 paying crew aboard a SpaceX Dragon capsule named Freedom. But while Hamilton is keen for reliability issues to be ironed out first, the Brit admitted that he'd had dinner with SpaceX founder Elon Musk and was on the list for a future flight. "I'm ready to go to space at any stage. I told him that I'd fly the ship, but I think it's all automated," Hamilton said. Thanks for watching. To stay up to speed on all things Formula One, make sure you hit the subscribe button.